Bored of inadequate film podcasts?
Frustrated by amateurish, immature content creators masquerading as film critics?
Then we have just the film podcast for you.
It's called Kermode and Mayo's Take.
And you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. Roll the tape.
Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, which unfortunately is a title which immediately, you think, oh, please, just the use of those words. Anyway, this is the latest film by Kogonada, Park Jung-un, who's a South Korean-born American director known for stylish visual and aesthetic sense. Started out as a video essayist, made a splash with Columbus, which was an indie feature, then made After Yang. Now, I don't know whether you remember this, but I reviewed After Yang. It's a sort of elusive sort of science fiction film about a family who have a robotic son that then starts to disconnect. And it's a very strange, melancholy film, echoes of AI, lovely score by Asuka Matsumiya. Colin Farrell was in that film. He's back again now. Here, starring alongside Margot Robbie in what is far and away Kogonada's biggest and most star-studded and, mainstream production, although mainstream in a strange way. So this is a romantic fantasy with shades of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, a poster that very deliberately evokes The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which is a musical that was always celebrated for having a gritty sense of realism, feet on the floor, head in the clouds. Script by Seth Weiss was on the Blacklist in 2020. The Blacklist is this list of the best unproduced scripts. It's become quite a big deal now. If you have a script that hasn't been made, if it makes it onto the Blacklist, the chances are people will get to see it. So what happens is that Colin Farrell is David and Margot Robbie is Sarah. They meet at a wedding. They are both single. They are both somewhat emotionally marooned. It turns out that they've both also rented cars from the Car Rental Agency, which is a weird agency that looks more like a kind of drama audition workspace in a huge, great hangar, manned by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, sporting a shonky German accent that she jumps out of sometimes, and Kevin Kline, who I didn't recognize as being Kevin Kline until the very end of the movie when I went, oh, that's Kevin Kline. The car rental agency only has 2 cars. Both of them are old. David and Sarah have a sort of borderline flirty conversation at the wedding in which she tells him that they can't get close because she'll hurt him, which is what she does. And he tells her that he's never met the right person and he doesn't dance. So that's what he does. So next morning, they go their separate ways. But as they're driving away from the wedding, the sat-nav in David's car, which Phoebe Waller-Bridge insisted that he take, said, you must have the sat-nav. And she literally says it, you must have the sat-nav in that funny accent, starts to talk to him. And it says to him, do you want to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey? And he says, what? And he says, do you want to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey? And he's obviously lost, and he says yes. And the sat-nav says, okay, say it with me. I want to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey. And the first thing it tells him to do is to pull off the road, pull into a fast food joint, order a cheeseburger, which he does. And whilst he's there, he sees Sarah also eating a cheeseburger. And they strike up a conversation. Here's a clip.
So we live in the same city.
Correct.
Yeah.
Are you gonna ask me out or something?
Would you like to be asked out?
I guess you'll never know now.
Well, pain of early regret.
Also known as dating.
So we're not going to date.
Wouldn't be worth the risk.
Pessimistic. I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah, thank God.
Want an onion ring?
Please.
Delicious.
This is the only ring I'll be getting from you.
Good joke, though. The only ring I'll be getting is the onion ring. Incidentally, I said Seth Weiss wrote it. Seth Rice, my mistake. So basically, it is clear that she has been directed there by her own sat-nav as well. And her car stops working, so they both have to get into the same car and go together on this big, bold, beautiful journey. And the journey leads them to a series of locations with a series of doors in the middle of nowhere, incidentally, like a door in the middle of a field or a door in the middle of an open parking lot. And when they go through the doors take them into their various pasts, to moments that created them, to moments that led them to be the people that they are, to her to be somebody who will inevitably hurt somebody, to him to be somebody who can't find the right person. And the places that they go to include homes, schools, hospitals, art galleries, and even amateur dramatic musical production. There are references to musicals everywhere. I mean, as I said before, there was that Umbrellas of Cherbourg thing. There's Singing in the Rain posters on the walls. There is, in fact, a High School Musical at one point, and the set pieces keep threatening to turn into dance. If you watch the movie and you enjoy the movie, do stay to the very end, because there's a very long payoff to the I don't dance gag, which plays out over the final credits. So look, as the title suggests, it's big, it's bold, it has moments of beauty, and it has oodles of ambitions. It also has a lovely score by Joe Hisaishi, who, of course, his work I love and did such great work with Ghibli. However, it doesn't work. And unlike Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind or Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris, the fantasy elements never quite click. The sense of naturalism, of unquestioned magic just isn't there. I mean, you watch it and you keep wanting to go, hang on. Why aren't they going, hang on, what's going on? I mean, the effect is weirdly like watching a musical in which you never get used to the fact that they break into song. Now, I know some people don't like musicals, and one of the reasons they don't like musicals is because they don't like the fact that people break into song. But all the best musicals, to which this does owe a great debt, when characters break into song, you just accept it as a natural heightening of the real world because you think that's the space that the film is playing out in. In the case of this, that never happens. And it's weird that it doesn't, because there are some interesting devices, like when they go into the past, when they go back to high school, for example, we see them as they still are, as grown-ups, but everyone else sees them as younger people. Okay, you think, okay, that's a good device. And I kept thinking, the film looks great. I like the actors. I like the idea of the Fantasia, but it doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? And I think it's that in order for a fantasy like this to work, you have to just accept the conceit, and the film has to make you accept the conceit. And this never did. Now, it doesn't help that the past lives revelations, the moments that they go back to, are quite trite and quite cliched. So there's a lot of stuff about, I didn't make right with my parents, or I had a hard time in high school, or I had my heart broken at a certain point in my life and I never got over it. But again, even with that, if you think of a film like Peggy Sue Got Married, that does this in a way that didn't have me wondering all the time, why, how has she gone back to the past? I mean, there's an explanation, but it's not really an explanation. So look, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't love it. And I suspect that some people will absolutely hate it. The main takeaway from it is I like Kogonada as a director. I like both of these actors. I think Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie are both very fine actors. And I like the ambition of it. It just didn't work. And in that, I tried to imagine a circumstance in which I was watching a musical and every time they started singing, I was Nigel Floyd going, sorry, why are they singing? Because that's how I felt all the way through Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey.